Thanksgiving dinner was almost perfect. The table was full of food, the turkey looked golden and warm, the candles flickered like stars, people were laughing, talking, eating, and then my dad stood up, clinked his glass, and destroyed me with 7 words. "You're a burden. Get out of my house." I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I smiled because I had something planned too. If he could disown me, then I could disown them right back. And I wasn't going to walk away quietly. I was going to make sure they felt what I felt. My name is Haley Adams. I'm 25 years old. And this is how I made sure they never forgot that Thanksgiving. Growing up, I wasn't the loud one. I wasn't the favorite. I was just there. I have 2 brothers, Ethan and Kyle. Ethan is the oldest. He's smart and smooth, always knew how to make Dad laugh. Kyle is the middle one. He's wild, fun, always in trouble, but somehow always forgiven. And then there was me, quiet, helpful, the girl who stayed behind. When I turned 19, I got into a good college. I even got a small job working in a bookstore. I was happy until Mom got sick. Cancer, stage 4. I still remember the day Dad told me. His face looked like stone. He said, "We need you home. Your mom needs help." So I dropped everything. No more school, no more job, no more dreams. Just Mom, the hospital visits, and sleepless nights. At first, everyone helped. My brothers visited, Dad brought groceries. We were a family. But slowly, things changed. Ethan stopped coming. "I'm busy with work," he'd say. Kyle moved in with his girlfriend. "I can't handle this," he told me. Even Dad stopped helping. He stayed in his room most nights. Sometimes I could hear him crying. Sometimes I heard nothing at all. So I did it alone. I learned how to change IV bags. I learned how to spoon feed Mom when she couldn't lift her hand. I washed her hair, sang to her, slept beside her on the cold floor. For 3 years. I lost weight. I lost friends. I lost my 20s. But I didn't complain because I loved her. And I thought maybe they'd see that. Maybe they'd thank me. Maybe, just maybe, they'd still care. Then one day, she was gone. It was raining when she died. I sat beside her bed holding her hand. She smiled at me, her lips dry and cracked. She whispered, "You're my heart, Haley. Don't let them steal your light." Those were her last words. The funeral was small. Ethan made a big speech. Kyle cried loudest. Dad just stood there. And me? I felt like I was floating, like I didn't belong in my own body. I didn't cry at the funeral. I cried alone, 2 nights later, in the bathtub. After Mom died, the house felt different. Cold, quiet, like something important had disappeared. I thought Dad and I would grow closer, that maybe now he'd talk to me again. But he didn't. Instead, he grew angry at everything. The bills, the mail, even the way I cooked eggs. "You're still here," he snapped one morning. I blinked. This is still my home. He laughed, but not the funny kind, the cruel kind, the kind that made your stomach twist. Haley, you're 25. You don't work. You're not in school. You think this is a hotel? That hit me hard. I wanted to scream. I gave up everything for Mom. But instead, I just nodded and cleaned the dishes. After that, he barely spoke to me. Some days we didn't talk at all. My brothers never called. Then, one night, I heard something I wasn't supposed to hear. I was walking past Dad's room. His door was slightly open. He was on the phone with Ethan. I heard my name. She's just a burden now. She has no job, no life. You think I'm paying for her forever? She needs to go. I don't care how. My heart stopped. They were planning to kick me out. Me, the girl who gave up her whole life for them. I stood in the hallway, shaking, and I made a choice. I would not beg. I would not cry. I would not fight. I would plan, and when Thanksgiving came, I would let them destroy me, so I could destroy them back. Thanksgiving morning, I baked Mom's favorite apple pie, her recipe, her smile in my head. I wore the yellow dress she loved, put on a little makeup, pretended everything was fine. The house smelled like food and fake happiness. Ethan was already there, bragging about his new job. Kyle was showing off his car keys. Dad, he looked sharp. Pressed shirt, clean shave, the host of a perfect family dinner. And me, I sat at the corner of the table, smiling. But in my head, I was already packing the bomb. The food looked nice. Too nice. Big turkey in the middle, mashed potatoes, sweet corn, homemade bread rolls. Everything looked perfect, like a magazine picture. But nothing felt right. My chair was the farthest from Dad's. No one saved me a seat. I had to pull one from the corner and squeeze beside the wall. I placed my pie gently on the table. No one said thank you, not even a smile. They passed it around like it didn't matter, just like they passed me. Ethan was bragging again. I got promoted, big office, big paycheck, might buy a boat. Kyle laughed. Wow, you're basically a CEO now. Dad nodded proudly. That's my boy. Then he turned to me, and his smile dropped like a curtain. Still jobless, Haley? He asked. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Ethan chuckled. Kyle smirked. Even my aunt looked away. I looked down at my plate. The food blurred. My hand shook. I wanted to scream, I took care of Mom while you all ran away. But I didn't, because I already knew how this dinner would end. It got quiet. Too quiet. Dad stood up, tapped his glass with a spoon. Clink, clink, clink. Everyone turned to look at him. And then he said it, loud and clear. This is a celebration for the people who make this family proud, for the ones who work hard, who succeed, who bring something to the table. He paused, then turned to me. Haley, you don't belong here anymore. Gasps. Silence. Forks dropped. My breath caught in my throat. I felt like the floor disappeared, but I didn't move. Dad's voice got louder. Get out! Paying bills doesn't make you family. We carried you long enough. You're not a kid. You're a burden. I looked at him, at my brothers, at everyone. No one stopped him. No one defended me. Not one word. Even my aunt whispered, maybe it's for the best. And then I heard the voice that broke me the most. My mom's voice. Not out loud, just in my memory, whispering like wind through the trees. You're just jealous of your brother. My eyes burned, but I didn't cry. I smiled. I stood up, slowly, calmly. I picked up my fork, tapped my own glass. Everyone stared. Then let him pay the $10,000? I said softly. Ethan blinked. What? The bills, the house, the bakery, the loan you secretly asked Dad for, the one I helped pay off? Yeah, let the golden boy handle it now.
Dad's eyes widened. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I do, I said. I paid the mortgage twice last year, and the bakery's debt, and Mom's hospital bills when insurance refused. Everyone froze. I smiled again. If I'm not family, then I'm not responsible anymore, right? No one answered. I stepped away from the table. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and when the lights go out tomorrow, remember this moment. Then I walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't look back. But I knew they were watching me leave. I could feel their eyes, their confusion, their fear. Because I said $10,000, because I said bakery, because I sounded like I had something planned. And I did. That night, I sat on my bed. I stared at the ceiling. Everything felt still, like the world was holding its breath. I opened the drawer beside me, pulled out the envelope Mom gave me before she died. It had been sealed, until now. Inside was her will, and one small note. To the only one who stayed, you deserve more than this house. You deserve freedom. Mom. The will was shocking. The bakery? Mine. The house? Mine. Even the little land behind the bakery? Also mine. Mom left it all to me. She knew. She knew they'd turn on me. She knew they'd pretend like I was nothing. And she made sure I had everything I needed to be something. I picked up my phone, called the lawyer. It's time, I said. Send the letters, all of them. The next morning would not be quiet. It would not be perfect. It would not be peaceful. It would be payback.
That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was sad, but because I was calm. Too calm. Like the storm was already over, and I had survived. I woke up early the next morning. The sky was gray, cold wind brushed the windows. I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of tea in my hand, and Mom's will on the table in front of me. I read it again, slowly. To my daughter Haley, the one who stayed, I leave the house, the bakery, and the land. I trust you to know what to do. Her handwriting was soft, curvy, full of love. She had trusted me, and now it was my turn to make sure no one forgot what I did for them and what they did to me. I got dressed, not in my usual sweater and jeans. I wore the navy blue coat Mom bought me 3 Christmases ago. I curled my hair, put on a little lipstick. I wanted to look strong, like someone you shouldn't mess with. Then I walked into the lawyer's office. He was already waiting. Mr. Lane was a kind man, old, with round glasses and a slow voice. He smiled when he saw me. "Ready, Miss Adams?" he asked. I nodded. We went through the documents, eviction notices, bank account updates, letters addressed to my father, Ethan, and Kyle. Each one was stamped, signed, final. You see, after Mom died, no one bothered to read her will. They all assumed Dad got everything. He acted like he did, but he never filed the papers, never opened the envelope she left for me. So legally, the house wasn't his. The bakery wasn't his. Even the loan Ethan took from the bakery's business account, that was mine now. All of it. Mine. And now, they were going to learn that. By 9 a.m., I was standing outside our family house again. My hands held the brown folder with the documents inside. The same house where I grew up. The same kitchen where I washed dishes while they mocked me. The same hallway where I cried after hearing Dad say I was a burden. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Kyle opened the door. He was holding a piece of toast and had jelly on his chin. "What do you want?" he asked. I smiled. "Good morning. Is Dad home?" He scoffed. "After last night, I'm surprised you're brave enough to come back." I stepped past him. Bravery has nothing to do with it. Dad was in the living room, flipping through a newspaper. Ethan was there too, sitting on the couch with coffee in his hand. They both looked up when I walked in. Silence. Then Dad stood. "You're not welcome here anymore." I handed him the envelope. "You're right. I'm not. But this house is." He frowned. "What is this?" "Mom's will. The legal one. The real one." Ethan grabbed the papers, started reading. His face turned white. "She left everything to you?" I nodded. "The house, the bakery, the land, all of it." Dad's hand shook. Kyle peeked over Ethan's shoulder, blinking fast. This isn't real," Dad stammered. "It is," I said softly. "The lawyer confirmed everything. Your name isn't on any of it." I turned to Ethan. "Oh, and about that $10,000 loan you took from the bakery's account? That's theft. I could press charges." He dropped the paper like it burned his fingers. For a second, no one spoke. Then Dad shouted, "You think you can just—" "I'm not thinking," I said, voice calm. "I know, and I already did." I pulled out the last 3 letters. "These are notices. You all have 30 days to move out. The house is mine." Kyle's mouth dropped. "You're evicting your own family?" "Family?" I laughed. "Is that what you call this? Because I don't." Ethan stood up. "You can't do this." "I am doing it, and the cops will agree." And like a movie cue, there was a knock at the door. 2 officers stood outside. Mr. Lane had called them earlier, just in case. They stepped into the room. "Everyone okay here?" one officer asked. I nodded. "Just making sure the paperwork is delivered without drama." Dad glared at me. "Your mother would be ashamed." I looked him in the eye. "No, she would be proud, because I stayed when none of you did. I cleaned her blood off the floor while you pretended it wasn't happening, and she saw that." Everyone was quiet again, except Ethan. His voice broke. "But we're family." I shook my head. "No, you disowned me. I'm just returning the favor." The cops left after confirming it was a legal matter. I didn't need them to drag anyone out. I just needed them to witness it. Dad sat back in his chair, shaking. Kyle stared at the wall. Ethan was whispering to himself. "Me?" I turned and walked out. This time, I did slam the door. Back at the bakery, I changed the locks, put up a sign, "Under new ownership." Then I made coffee, sat by the window, and watched the sun come out. That morning, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Power. Not the kind that hurts people, but the kind that says, "You don't get to treat me like garbage and walk away smiling." They didn't see me before, but now, they would never forget me. The next few days were loud. Not from me, but from them. Ethan called 23 times. Kyle sent long messages. Even my aunt showed up at the bakery one morning, pretending to buy bread. I didn't reply. I didn't open the door. I didn't explain anything. I didn't need to. They already knew what they did. Now they were just scared of losing what they thought was theirs. On the 7th day, Dad came. I heard the bell on the bakery door. I turned around and saw him, standing in the doorway, holding his old coat like it could protect him. He looked smaller than I remembered, tired, angry, but also something else. Scared. He didn't order anything. He just stood there. "You made your point," he said quietly. I stayed silent. "You don't have to do this, Haley. We're still your family." I raised one eyebrow. "You mean the family that disowned me in front of everyone? The one that called me a burden after I gave up everything for Mom?" He didn't answer, so I kept going. "You kicked me out, Dad, on Thanksgiving. You looked me in the face and said I didn't belong." "I was angry," he whispered. "I didn't mean it." "But you did," I said. "And now I mean this. You have 3 weeks to pack." He walked out without another word. And I didn't cry. Not even a little. Because by now, I had learned something. Forgiveness doesn't mean staying quiet. Sometimes real love means standing up for yourself, even when it's painful. Ethan and Kyle tried one more time. They showed up together at the bakery with flowers, fake smiles, soft voices, like nothing happened. "We were stupid," Ethan said. "We miss you," Kyle added. I didn't say a word. Instead, I handed them both letters. One was a final bill for the bakery loan Ethan stole from. The other was a rental invoice Kyle never paid when he stayed in the guest house for free. Their mouths opened like fish out of water. "You're charging us money now? We're your brothers." "No," I said softly. "You were my brothers." I walked into the back and locked the door behind me. The last day of their eviction came faster than I thought. A moving truck sat in front of the house. Boxes lined the driveway. My aunt was crying. My uncle was yelling. Kyle kept pacing. Dad didn't look at me when I walked up, but I looked at them. All of them. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel power. I felt peace. Real, deep, clear peace. Because for the first time, I wasn't carrying their weight. I wasn't begging for a seat at the table. I had built my own table. After they drove away, I chained the locks again, painted the mailbox, planted flowers by the door. I cleaned out every room. In Mom's bedroom, I found her old sweater still hanging on a hook. I hugged it and whispered, "I kept my promise, Mom. I didn't let them steal my light." I stood in her room for a long time, not crying, just breathing, because I could finally breathe. 2 months later, I reopened the bakery with a new name, The One Who Stayed. It became a hit. Customers came in and asked me about the name. I'd smile and say, "It's for someone I loved. She stayed when others ran, just like I did." I hired 2 girls from town who were struggling like I once was, paid them fairly, let them study part-time. I became the boss I always wanted to have, the woman Mom knew I could be. One day, a man came in for coffee. He said, "Weren't you on the news? That girl who kicked her whole family out?" I smiled gently. "I didn't kick them out. They let themselves out the day they forgot who I was. He laughed, shook his head, and left a big tip. I still don't know who told the press. Maybe my aunt? Maybe Kyle trying to make me look bad. But it didn't matter. The story went viral, and people started telling me their stories of being forgotten, of being used, of being brave enough to walk away. I answered every message because I knew how they felt. One night, I sat in the bakery after closing. The lights were off. Only the moonlight came through the window. And I thought about that Thanksgiving night. The pie, the laughter, the words that broke me. And then, the words I spoke back. Then let him pay the $10,000. I laughed to myself, not out of hate, out of strength, because they thought they ended me, but they freed me. They disowned me first, so I erased them like they never existed. The end. Kindly let me know where you are watching from. Did you enjoy this story? Let me know in the comments.